WFM 91.7.
Good morning, you're welcome on Her Voice. Her Voice is a deliberate program that condemns all forms of violence and discrimination against women and girls. Her Voice is an initiative of Women Radio 91.7 in partnership with ActionAid Nigeria and supported by Global Affairs Canada. My name is Esther Alaribe, and today on Her Voice we're going to be looking at the cost of excluding women in economic development. In May 2022, a report by the Word on Nigeria stated that closing the gender gaps in key economic sectors could yield additional gains of between $9.3 billion and $22.9 billion for the country. Looking at all of this data that we have, what have we done with this data? What moves have we made? When women are given equal access to participate in the economy of the country, the entire nation will benefit immensely. And now we're talking about the cost of excluding women in economic development. So we went on the streets and we had to ask women what they would do differently if they were given a chance in governance. Let's hear what they have to say.
As a woman, the likely things I can do for the growth of this economic development, if I'm given the chances, politics, yes. I'm going to put in my zeal if given the chance. So I'm going to make sure that there is equity, there is equal distribution of wealth among men and women in this country.
Ọ̀nà pàtàkì tí mo rò wípé mo lè fi ran ìdàgbàsókè orílẹ̀-èdè wa lọ́wọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí obìnrin ni wípé láti pèsè nǹkan tí àwọn olóyìnbó ń pè ní skill acquisition center. A tún lè pèsè oúnjẹ òòjọ́ fún àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wa. A dẹ̀ tún lè jẹ́ kí àìníṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọ̀dọ́ kó lọlẹ̀ àti ìwà jàgídíjàgan tó ń lọ káàkiri agbègbè orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà.
Enwere m ike inye aka na ịkwalite ọganihu akụ na ụba site n'ihe ọhụrụ, nye onyinye maka otu agụmakwụkwọ na ndị ọrụ ebere, na ịbanye n'ọgụ ahụ iji kwụsị agha na ọgwụ ọjọọ.
As I be a woman, the thing wey be say me I go wan do, I don dey do am small small for my own little way, for my own community. Sometimes I fit see some children wey be say dem no get anything wey be say dem go chop, wey be say dem no get better work. Me wey be say God do for me small small, I still dey give them small small, I give them food sometimes.
Today on Her Voice on Women Radio 91.7, I will be speaking with Barrister Hafsat Sahabi Dange, President, Association of Northern Women Entrepreneurs, on the cost of excluding women in economic development. Good morning, Barrister Hafsat.
Good morning to you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, the phone lines will be open for you to join the conversation, 07000 917 917, or you can send us a text or a WhatsApp message, 070 317 56537, to be a part of the conversation on Her Voice this morning. You can listen live from any part of the world at www.wfm917.com. You can also download the mobile app to listen live, WFM 917. So, Barrister Dange, looking at this,
Yes.
if you would have to highlight some of the contributions of women at different levels contributing to Nigeria's economic development, where would you start from?
Okay, I'll start from the very bottom because as a gender advocate, I've been advocating for women's economic empowerment at the local level for a very long time now. So I think it's a good place to start. So I would say that women have really contributed enormously, especially in Nigeria, even on the GDP of the country, because micro and small and medium enterprises, women are more in that sector, and we've seen the numbers, we've seen the percentage of the gross domestic product of the country that has come from that sector.
Okay.
So I can say that women have contributed and are still contributing to the micro and small, medium enterprise area, and it's really impacting the economy.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Dange, for that. Now, looking at this report that was released in May 2022 by the World Bank on Nigeria, stating that if Nigeria could intentionally close the gender gap, it could yield an additional gains of about $9.3 billion and $22.9 billion for the country. Having this data with us, what do you think we should be doing with this data?
Of course, that is very correct. The sooner Nigeria realizes that it is really missing out on a lot of productivity and a lot of naira, the better, because half of the population who are women are not sustainably contributing to this sector the way they should be. So there's a lot of things that needs to be done. And again, women are still seen as women's enterprises and women's contributions are still seen as little, like that is what a woman should do. You see a lot of barriers and a lot of cultural hindrances, against the woman's growth. So by the time they keep believing that a woman's business should be small, a woman's contribution should be small, so there's no way this gap should be bridged. And of course, a lot needs to be done in different segments of the economy, be it on education, be it on the work opportunities itself, be it in financial sectors and all other sectors of the economy. That gap is still very, very wide and enormous, and it needs to be bridged if we have any hope of achieving greater progress.
All right. Thank you, Barrister Dange, for that. Now, with all of this that you've highlighted, we've seen different sectors where women who are able to still break the glass ceilings and find their way around the kind of good works that they get to do. Now, for women who over time have not been able to achieve all of this, or have not been able to get into these spaces where their voices could be heard and their work could be showcased, what do you think are the barriers that are preventing these women from being included in the economic growth of the country?
Okay, I can start with the social barriers, because we still have situations whereby some certain kinds of jobs and work are seen as they are being gendered. They are seen as men's work. For instance, we still have a lot of restrictions on certain kinds of work like engineering, construction, a lot of other STEM work that's still being seen as men's work. And even at the family level, you see that there's a lot of barrier restricting girls from actually going into those kinds of jobs. So they're really limiting the productivity of women. And there's no sector that will not benefit from the innovations, creativity, resilience, and the touch of a woman. We have a lot of data that shows that women are very good leaders. So by the time those sectors are gendered and women don't get to contribute, so you don't really see much development, much innovation, much progress in those particular units. So looking at the much lower level, the traditions that really, really restricts the growth of women, they are still with us in our communities. They are very, very much still with us. And sometimes the workload and the unpaid care work that a woman is being burdened with at homes and at the home fronts really discourages her from, going into more challenging workspaces or, aspiring to go bigger or to go higher. Because we all know that is a great problem in our homes. Because no matter how high achiever you are as a woman, you still have to go and face some other bigger responsibilities at home or family. Some even take care of their in-laws, get their old parents and all those things. And that part of work is not being considered as work. So at the end of the day, you get to do double and still compete in a very hard environment with the male counterparts.
So yes, Barrister Dange, with all of this that you put forward, truly, these are the things that we get to see. I mean, we see women doing different kind of stuff within the community, in the home and all. And a lot of these works are not accounted for, and women keep contributing to the growth of the country. Now, with all of this that you've stated, you also mentioned that we have data to show that women make good leaders when elected into offices. How can we intentionally address this marginalization of women's access to their rights, access to opportunity, for them to also help themselves advance more, that in a way that we can see this economic development that we stand to gain if women are properly included and covered in economic development?
So we will start from policies. Be intentional in that. Start from policies, to abrogate all those laws that restrict women, or because there are regions and a lot of places that you see that specifically they have laws that affect women participation in work, so we could start by abolishing those. And the social reorientation, could start also from the community levels, from our home fronts, so sensitization and awareness seeking, and again, be intentional about training and retraining upskilling of women, so the educational sector will play a great deal of role in this area. Like you see, when we talk about digital education, we see a lot of gap. Women are not, especially at the more lower level, women are not really keen into technology, and we know that there's no educational sector, that really do well without that digital knowledge. So there's a very important role we have to all play as either government or individuals or NGOs, to see that there's that educational upskilling and reskilling in the area of using technology, so that our women and girls can be able to compete favorably and really, really make meaningful contributions in the economy.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Dange, for having to analyze this way in simple terms. So, are there programs? Yes, we get to see like different programs and schemes that the government get to put together, different agencies under different ministries as well for women. But for some reason, the success rate of these initiatives, these schemes are not documented. They are not known to the public. And yes, if you talk to the average person on the street, they'll tell you, oh, it's for people that have money. Oh, it's people, they know the people they give, not them they give, because these things are not coming to people at the grassroots who actually need it. So how do we get these schemes to spread in a way that people can benefit from it? So when you talk to at least 3 women, one can tell you, oh, I registered for this scheme and this is what I've been able to achieve registering for this.
Yes. So this area is very, very key, and thank you for bringing it up, because this is actually what we advocate for. The government have to really be intentional in working with community organizations, because sometimes community organizations have the freedom to innovate, even in the area of language barrier. For instance, now, if maybe say a particular agency that deals in the issue of digital transformation is doing a program, and all the announcements will be done online, maybe through Instagram, Facebook, and social media, and it's in English language, and you have to go through the computer to apply. How many people from those local areas, can be able to even see it, not to talk of apply it? So government should be intentional about making all these opportunities inclusive. So they could start by working with community organizations that would at least break this down into maybe local language, into pidgin, and again make the process seamless. Or maybe community organizations have a way of making things happen, because I've seen things like that, like when the federal government
put together
registration fees, or made maybe a corporate affairs registration fee free. I saw what role community organizations played in that. They went ahead to translate those forms into Hausa language. They sensitized
to make it
people.
easier for the women.
They went into the markets to tell business market women that this opportunity is here, and they actually helped them in doing the data entry, getting their data. All these things. I know of organizations that went a step ahead of government, in ensuring that these women at the local level who are in the markets, who cannot open an Android phone and look and see those opportunities and apply. I saw the role that they played. So what they say now, collaboration is the new competition, and collaboration is key. In fact, we even have it as one of the sustainable development goals. So I think government should be intentional about collaborating with very local NGOs at the community level to sensitize people on opportunities, so that these opportunities could be inclusive. Everybody would have equal opportunity to apply and benefit from them.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Dange, for all of this. In 30 seconds, just highlight few points that could be benefits of women inclusion in economic development.
They are very diverse, but in few sentences, I would say that the sustainable development goals that we are trying to achieve by 2030 will never be achieved when there's gender inequality. So the women's economic empowerment is central to realizing women's rights and gender equality. So by the time we're not intentional about this, there's no way we can achieve the SDGs by 2030.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Hafsat Sahabi Dange, President, Association of Northern Women Entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for analyzing the cost of excluding women in economic development and also mentioning the benefits that we stand to gain if we include women in economic development. Thank you so much, Barrister Dange. Do have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you. There you have it. You've heard it all from Barrister Hafsat Sahabi Dange. And that's all on Her Voice for today. Thank you so much for being a part of Her Voice. Thanks to the production team of Omozele Omoren and executive producer Tom Okewale Shonaya. Her Voice holds every third Tuesday on Women Radio 91.7, and it is an initiative of Women Radio 91.7 in partnership with ActionAid Nigeria and supported by Global Affairs Canada. Until we'll come your way next third Tuesday, I remain your host, Esther Alaribe. Good morning.
WFM 91.7.